Hey everybody, this is Dave from D&E Performance coming to you from the office. And today, just going to go through our series of Terminator X software. This one's just going to be solely on just a couple of changes. So I've got our theoretical project vehicle here. The theoretical project vehicle is running a 5.3 boosted on E85. So we're going to go to System ICF parameters and start changing some of the things in the base map in order to get our theoretical project vehicle fired off. And this is just going to be a couple of things. The last video was ridiculously long. It was like 20 minutes long. So I'm going to try not to rant and on and on and on about certain things. So let's just get into this so we can make the video time short. We'll go to our Terminator X icon. We're not going to use the shortcut in all my videos. I'm just going to bypass this. Maybe towards the end I might, but the shortcut does make it nice. But we're just going to, every time we open up a new global file, I'm going to bypass this. So I just get in the habit of not using this shortcut. It is very useful. There's a lot of people that use it, but I'm just going to not use it, and we're just going to make consistency here and just go up to File, and I'm always going to open my global files from the File icon at the top. So we're going to click Open Global File. We're going to go to Dave's SM95 build. Double click on that. Whoops, we don't want to double click on that. We're going to come over here since our build is a turbo build, and we're running a Gen 3. This is a 24X base tune file that we're going to start from. And since our hypothetical vehicle is boosted with the 5.3, we're going to go, and it's a Gen 3. I forgot to mention that. We're going to go ahead and open this base file. So this is going to open the base, your base calibration file up, and then we're going to go over here to the System ICF dropdown. We're going to click that. We're going to go into ECU configurations. Or I'm sorry, engine parameters. We're not going to do it in ECU configurations, but we do need to check this always. So the ECU configurations, we just want to make sure that it's set on in our hypothetical. We'll be running a 5.3 turbo on E85 with, let's say, a 4L80. So if you're running the 4L80, you want to make sure that you have it set on Terminator X Max, because you can set this solely on Terminator X. So I want to make sure this is on X Max. And then we're going to go to our engine parameters. We're going to open this up, and we want to make sure that it's set on 8 cylinders. Our displacement here, so we are running a 5.3. This is very important for VE model load sensing. We want to have this set on 5.3. You can just click on it and then backspace, and we can just type in 5.3, enter. You can also set this to cubic inches if you want to. You can see where our 5.3 is 323 cubic inches, but we'll just leave it on liters for right now. We are running E85, and I know there's a lot of tuners that you can do it either or way. It really doesn't matter. But since we're only going to be strictly running our hypothetical vehicle on E85, it's going to be a race vehicle, so we don't really care about tuning it for gasoline. There's other ways that you can go about, tuning for both gasoline and E85. You can find a whole lot of videos out there on how to set these tables up. That would be in the advanced parameters. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead, since we're doing E85 and only E85, we're just going to go ahead and select our fuel type as E85. Um, when we first get our vehicle fired off, this fuel pump prime 5 seconds is more than adequate enough. You'll kind of need this right off the bat, especially if you just dump fuel in the vehicle and you're getting ready to fire off. It's better just to go and leave this default in there uh, to build fuel pressure. You could also go in here and set this for even longer so that you can get fuel up to the fuel rails. I've noticed that when I go in before I get ready to fire a vehicle off, if I set this for 10 seconds and then just make sure that, because you'll it depends on what it is. If it's an in-tank pump, it's going to pick up real quick. If it's an external pump, it's going to take some time. Um, so if it's an external, if it's a, I'm sorry, if it's an internal tank, I would just leave it on the default. If it is an external tank, or I'm sorry, external fuel pump, I would set this to 10 seconds. That way, you give the pump some time to pick up the fuel, because you got to remember that the external pump is outside of the tank, and so it's trying to to suck, to build pressure. So it's using suction to pull the fuel out of the tank. So if you set it on 5 seconds, what happens is when you go to key on, it ends up just running the 5 seconds, and then the fuel doesn't, the pump doesn't have enough time to actually start sucking the fuel out of the tank. So uh, on first prime the pump to get the fuel up into the rails on an external pump, it's better to set this high. And this is only if the pump is dry and it hasn't been used, like it's a brand new Holley pump or whatever you're using, a Magna Fuel or whatever pump you're using. And it also lubricates the pump. Um, it gets the pump nice and saturated with fuel, and then it gets it ready, and then on top of it, you can make sure that you have your wiring correct, uh, so that, um, once you key on, if you're running your fuel pump off of a fuel pump relay, you should be able to hear the fuel pump in the, as you just cycle the key, you should be able to hear the pump. It's one of the things that you're wanting to check before you fire the vehicle off. But anyways, let's keep going on. So we'll leave this. We have an external. We'll just say we have an external pump. We're going to leave this on 10 seconds. Our actual fuel pressure is very important too, to have this set, especially because we are going to be using VE based. These other uh, load sensing models that you have for tuning, we're not going to talk about any of these. Uh, we're just going to go on and talk about the VE load sensing model. It's what everybody uses. It's very easy to use, especially with your closed loop control. But anyways, we'll go ahead and we'll say yes. We'll go ahead and we will change our base pressure. We're going to run the factory base pressure on this hypothetical vehicle. So we're just going to type in 58. 58 is the standard on a Chevy with an LS in it. So this all depends on the the fuel injectors that you have versus the pressure that you're running, and it comes out with this total system fuel flow. This is very important. So right now, with the injectors that we have selected, which is some FIC 1650s and the base fuel pressure, you have 1411.5 pound per hour total system flow. So this right here is very important. This affects this, and this affects this. This affects that. Every change that you make in here is affecting something. If one of these things does not match up with what you have on your setup, uh, your tune is going to be off bad. It won't be off by much, but it's enough to where it can send you chasing your tail. This is as far as we're gonna go today. We just set the displacement. We set, you know, how we want to prime our fuel pump, and then the actual line pressure that we're going to run, the type of fuel that we're going to be using, and then later on we'll get into setting up. On my next video, we'll get into setting up our injector and our injector data, because that's pretty important on a first fire. And then also we're going to get in here and also use our enable injector end angle table. We're also going to get into this because this is important if you do have a camshaft. Again, this is Dave with D&E Performance. If you guys like these videos, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. You know, it always helps me out, sends it further out into the algorithm, just like everybody else says on YouTube. Again, I don't have a Patreon. I don't have any way of, you know, this is all this time is my free time that I do this. So hopefully this will help somebody. Again, smash the like button, and I will catch you guys on the flip.